that's fun. So I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is actually my home, so even though we get to speak everywhere, it's always exciting to be with friends and family because I'm from this area, and CCAR was my first association to be a part of whenever I moved to Texas. So excited to be here with you guys today. Yeah, my hubby, the Rook, wanted to be here with you today, but he's has another speaking engagement, so he's out speaking somewhere else, so we'll connect later. But he told me to tell you guys hi. He wishes that he was here. Let's see, let me turn this on. So today, I decided we're going to talk about seriously practical tech. Now, I know that name is blowing your mind right now. It's that simple. But sometimes I think we overcomplicate technology, and we're always looking at the shiny penny. Is it changing all the time, guys, technology? Yeah. Can it be overwhelming? Yeah. But I'm not going to present the shiny penny to you today. What I want to present is some seriously practical, small technology steps that no matter what level you're at in the room, no matter if you're a vendor, a realtor, a manager, staff, you could use any of the tips that we're going to talk about today. At the end of the presentation, I'll give you a digital handout, so only write stuff down that's not on the screen because everything else will be given to you at the end. Sound good? You guys ready? I have a short amount of time. We're going to move fast, but because you get a copy of the presentation, don't freak out because you can revisit it all at home. You ready to go? Say yes? Yes. All right. Seriously practical tech. This is an interesting, everybody read that. Modern technology has become a total phenomenon for civilization, the defining force of a new social order in which efficiency is no longer an option, but a necessity imposed on all human activity. Like it or not, tech's here to stay. Technology keeps changing. I want to encourage you, though, that when I first got into real estate in 2002, I didn't even own a computer. Think about back then. Not that many people had laptops in 2002. A few did. Some of us had computers at home. I didn't. So it took years for me to practice and learn to become a tech coach. But I want you to know when I started, I didn't even know what copy and paste was. So no one in here has an excuse that they can't implement some of these practical steps today, because I promise you, if you do implement a few of the things you learned today, it's going to make you more efficient. Because here's what's important to understand. Technology isn't just a pain in the rear. It's actually something that can save you time once you get good at things. And we all know that time is money. So let's talk about a few of those things. How many in here, by show of hands, are using Gmail as your main method of mail? Quite a few of you. The reason I'm going to spend a little bit of time on Gmail is because this is where most of the corporations are going to if they haven't already. I would propose to you that Gmail is an awesome tool. If you're not used to it, it may not be your favorite at first, but I'm going to give you a few convincing reasons of why maybe it's something that you should use. Number one, it's free. Right? Number one, it's online. It can be accessed anywhere. And number three, I'm going to show you some cool tools that can be used inside of Gmail and rarely anywhere else. But before we do that, go into some of the cool tools, I want to show you, or ask you, I don't make sure I'm on the right slide. Do you get spam? How many of you hate checking email simply because most of it is a bunch of crud in there? Or subscription-based mail. So I'm going to give you a tip of how to clean that up first and foremost. And that is a site, it's a website, not an app, a website called unroll.me. Okay? When you go to this website, you will simply put in your Gmail address or whatever email address you're wanting to clean up. It scans your email for you within a couple of minutes and then puts on the screen anything that is a subscription-based email, okay, all on one screen. And rather than having to go to an individual email and scroll to the bottom and click unenroll or unsubscribe every time you get one, if it's something you're not wanting, all on one sheet. Now, the first time I did this, I'm embarrassed to say there was 735 found. Whew. That's a lot, right? So this time, there was 221 found. You'll see it's like a tiny up there. puts them all on one screen. You can easily go through here in one screen and click unsubscribe or keep. Add to roll up is an advanced feature, and unless you get some training on that, I don't suggest it. But unsubscribe or keep an inbox, and you'll go all the way down. You don't have to go to the individual sites. You'll click down and it unsubscribes for you on the ones you don't want. And the ones that you do want, like CCAR and other organizations where you do want to hear their announcements, say keep an inbox. That way it doesn't keep showing up on your screen. Does that make sense? This could clean you guys up and save so much time. In case you want to get into the advanced add to roll up, what that is I don't want to unsubscribe, but I don't want it clogging up my inbox, so roll it up with all the rest of them that are like that into a once a week email. That's what that is, so you can get into that. So how many people could use something like that? All right, don't do it now. The second feature that you should do before adding cool new tools by cleaning up your inbox is Gmail does, and most servers do, have a limit as to how much storage space you get unless you purchase more. So there could be some really big emails that are holding a lot of gig, and you don't want to have to go through the thousands of folders or emails to find them. So the next tool would be go to findbigmail.com. Findbigmail.com, and for free, and you can give a small donation if you want because they're a free site, it will scan your inbox and it will instantly send you a report. This is mine from last night, and I had 20 emails that were over 21 megabits. And all I have to do is click on that, and it gives me the exact emails, and then I can choose, is this something I really need to save, or can I move this to a different spot? So rather than going through thousands of emails, I know specifically where my big mail is being held that's taking up all my storage. So it's just a really cool tool that anyone could use to save time. Now let's go into the settings. I know that's sexy. Settings, Gmail and the settings. When we go into the settings, I just want to point out two features that a lot of people aren't aware are in the settings of Gmail. And you guys know settings is in the upper right-hand corner. When you're inside Gmail, it looks like a gear. This is what the page will pop up as. I want to just point out there's all kinds of cool stuff you should be going through in here, but I want to point out two things because of time. One, the conversation view, on or off. How many of you don't like Gmail because you don't like the way that it puts all the emails together and you feel like you're losing mail, like you can't find it? Anyone? If you turn conversation view off, it's automatically defaulted to on, you will go back to the individual emails that you were used to having, and that's one of the reasons alone that a lot of people don't like Gmail, and that feature can be turned off. At first I hated it. Hey girl. I hated that feature. But now I kind of like it because it organizes my email. But if you're one that doesn't like it, turn it off. And the second one, especially as a realtor or vendor who sends contracts, or you're having a bad day, enable that undo send feature. How many of you sent an email and you're like, ooh, should have edited that a little bit. Should have added a little kiss to that slap. Okay, so it is automatically set at 10 seconds, but you can enable it to 30 seconds. So when you send an email at the top of the screen, it says hit undo, and that'll be available for 30 seconds for you to click that, all right? I would enable that as one of the features. One of the other favorite parts of Gmail settings is called Labs. Look at the top of your screen, Labs. When you click on that, you guys know what Labs are? Labs, thank you, Mary. Labs is a feature where a third party, not Gmail, not Google, said, you know, I really wish this feature existed inside Gmail, so I'm going to make it for them. Gmail checked it and said, even though we didn't make it, we're going to approve for you to be able to use it inside our system if you want to, and that's what's inside Labs. And the one that is my favorite is canned responses. Okay, how many of you can relate to this in your business? Somebody sends you a message, you put out a well-thought reply that took you forever, and you're like, you know what, somebody in the future is going to ask me that. I need to copy and paste that and save it for later when somebody else asks me that question. And then usually you're saving it on a Word document or somewhere like that. Did you know you could save it right inside of Gmail and canned responses? So here's how this works. It's automatically disabled. You would want to go and enable that you can have canned responses. It's a free thing, okay? Once you enable that, inside of your inbox, you will see a brand new thing that was never there before. And it's a little arrow on the bottom right-hand side. When you click on that, I can now look at all the canned responses I have. Like, it goes on and on. I couldn't even show. There's no limit. I haven't hit a limit yet, and I'm testing it good. Okay. There's no limit. It's a free feature. And if there's something like title company directions, directions to your office, the process you have to take when you're getting a new loan, the steps I need you to take. If you're going to go to a listing appointment, what are the things they need to prepare? These are all things that you can have canned responses set for. And as you write that email to your client, you're like, that's good. I did good on that one. You then go to that and save it for the future as a canned response. And when you do that, if I go to do another email and it's like, ooh, I already have a response for that, all I have to do is hit it. It automatically inserts it into the email.
Can you walk through again how you saved it up there?
Well, we can't go through how to save all of them. It's in here because of time. But in here, you'll see one that says create new one. You can't see it on mine because I have so many. But underneath here, it would say save new response, and you get to title it whatever you want. And then from then on, it'll be in here. And what's cool is it can include maps, photos. It can include video, text. And once you insert it, you can edit anything. So you're not stuck. You could put their name in it if you wanted to. But you can see here, this was a canned response, and it even included a video from me. So you can save anything you want, and this could be a huge time saver for later. All right, canned responses, who loves it? Use it, love it. Okay. All right, now let's quickly talk about your email signature. You guys are like, God, that's old school, email signatures. But I do want to talk about it. Have you ever received an email? Nobody pointed at anyone, then it'll get embarrassing. Have you ever received an email, and in the email signature, they put their social media icons or their picture, and they linked it to their, but all of them are showing up as attachments to the email. That's so yesterday, y'all, and not acceptable anymore. Okay, no, because then we go down and open the attachments like they're trying to send us something, and it was just the picture of Facebook, right? And it's like, ooh, no bueno. How do we get away from that? Your email signature is free advertising, and it's saying something about you. Does it say you're old school, or does it say you're new school? So here's what shouldn't go in your email signature. Don't overstuff it. Don't put your email address. This is like hilarious to me because you're emailing them. They know your email address. They can hit reply. That's like putting 2 return mail addresses on the envelope. Don't put your fax number, even if you have one, unless you do a lot of government contracts or bank ones where they require faxes. But for the general public, did you know surveys said at the Realtor.com convention, consumers think if you are advertising a fax, you're a little bit old school and maybe not up on the technology. And we don't want to put that out there, right? It's not that you can't have a fax, but we're not advertising it. Some of my millennials were like, what's a fax? Okay, but they are there. And then don't do the images that show up as attachments. So what should go in your signature, it can have an image. It does need to have a website. Social media icons are great. Show your expertise, but make sure they're done in HTML code, because if they're done in HTML code, they don't show up as attachments. How many code writers do we have in the house? Dang, get with one of those two. Or you can go to a service that will make these for you within seconds. Here is a bueno, okay? Here's some examples. And you can use all kinds of templates, but none of these will show up as attachments. And have you ever seen the beautiful email signature that's a photo that's done with graphic design? It looks gorgeous, but when you go to click on the phone number or website, it's not clickable because all it is a picture. That's so yesterday. Your consumer has the patience of this, and you need to give them clickable links where they can go to your website now. Don't expect them to write it down from the picture that's pretty and go to it later. It's not happening. So all these would be clickable links, every single one of these, even the phone number, okay? How do we do this? Well, you can use wisestamp.com. This is on your handout, and they'll give you a free one. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look like this, the free one. It's a little bit more basic. It's close to this one. But if you want to put logos and a lot of custom look in there like this, not going to happen. But for free, they can at least do this for you. The only catch is when somebody gives you for something for free, is it free? they're going to have their advertising in it, which says create your own signature here if you use the free one. If you're on a budget, though, do that. Who cares? Still clickable. All right? Now, if you can afford $40 a year, one time per year fee, then I really would suggest my favorite, which is emailsignaturerescue.com. Emailsignaturerescue.com, because it gives you hundreds of templates to choose from, and it gives you up to 3 signatures for the price of 1. So maybe it's you, a team member, and someone else can all have that same account with different information on it. And within seconds, it's kind of like dummy proof. It walks you through, give me your JPEG. It makes it for you, and all you have to do is copy and paste some code. All right, it's really a great feature. Now let's talk about Chrome extensions. Who's familiar with an extension? Not an extension cord. Extensions online. Some people call them apps. It depends on the kind it is. We're going to talk about those really quickly and some of my favorite ones. Now, I need to reiterate that in order to get these features that I'm about to tell you, you would have to be in the internet browser of Chrome, right? Not Internet Explorer, okay? Please don't use Internet Explorer anymore. It's our habit to, because it's what we've used forever, but we have this joke in the tech community, like the only thing that Internet Explorer is good for is downloading Chrome. Okay, we don't use it for anything other than downloading Chrome. From now on, we use that browser because some of the cool stuff I'm showing you today won't show up if you're not into Chrome. So what you would do is go to the Chrome Web Store, either using this domain later at home or just by Googling the Chrome Web Store. The Chrome Store is like Christmas for tech geeks. You get a lot of free tools. This is where you're going to find these. You only have to hit that you want it once in the Chrome Store, okay? And then it automatically shows up in your Gmail from then on. Here's the first one I want to show you. It's a company for Gmail. Y'all will have that in the handout, so later you can go find it. But what this does is as you're getting emails, let's say you're going to go meet a new client or you're going to meet a new vendor, okay? And they've emailed you the details of the meeting. On the side of those emails, look, I got one from Mary. From CCAR, and I was talking to Krista and the committee. When I get those emails, it automatically pulls up their profiles on the side, in the side of my email without even leaving, tells me exactly what her bio is, what she does, what company she works for, and a little bit more about her before I go meet with her.
Where is that information pulled from?
It's pulled from the internet. So while you're in your Gmail, you never leave, it's pulling anything they can find on Krista. Okay? Your client, the new vendor you're about to meet with. It's just an efficient tool to stay on top. It'll even tell you if they're on social media, and if they are, it'll give you their exact links to social media if you want to connect with them. Who thinks it's cool and who thinks it's a little scary?
It's cool. It's scary if she's on probation.
Krista's a good girl, so she has nothing to hide on her profile. Okay, so this is what it would look like. I've kind of blown it up a little. This is going to show up on the side of your email.
What was that, a company?
Yeah, you guys will get a handout. It was a company for Gmail. Okay, but it'll be on your handout.
Okay.
Sorry, my earring is hitting my mic. Let me take that off.
Thank you.
No problem. Another one is Discoverly. My favorite is a company. But Discoverly is another one that you could check out to see what you like better. That pretty much does the same thing, but without the bios. It's more focused strictly on the social media. All right, let's move on. BombBomb. How many of you are using video email? Okay, not enough. Video email, or video text actually, is the #1 converting tool of real estate today, period. #2 is video email. Okay? It's the next best thing. So when you're communicating with a client, think about if you're in a multiple offer situation, agents. Wouldn't it be cool if you sent that offer with a video in it of yourself? Saying, I know you're in a multiple offer situation. We've attached our best offer. I want to let you know that in addition to being very well pre-qualified, I'm also pretty great to work with. Just saying. Like, could you say a video like that? I mean, could you let them know? It doesn't make a difference if you have 2 offers that are similar that one agent's better to work with. You're not admitting it, come on. All right, so video email. BombBomb is a company. Now, they're not free. They're a subscription-based, and it depends on what you need, the cost. But BombBomb, I wanted you to know, in case you're interested in looking at it or a free trial, isn't just on bombbomb.com. It has an extension that puts it right into your Gmail. So I don't even have to leave Gmail, and I can instantly it creates a button for me. Instead of just compose, you'll see I have another button called send video. And as I do that, this is me last night with no makeup, nobody make fun. I wanted you to see an example. It'll automatically put a video player for you to start sending a message to your client. And you can also do this when you reply to someone, all right? And it's just a really good time saver, too. Have you ever been misunderstood by something you said in a text or email, right? So not only is BombBomb tracking, did they open it, did they watch it, how many times did they watch it, but it's also tracking, or not tracking, it's protecting you from being misunderstood because they can hear your tone of voice, okay? The next one is called ugly email. Maybe this is just me being a control freak, but I want to know if somebody's tracking what I'm looking at, email-wise, all right? So, and it's not that it's bad. A lot of us that send our monthly newsletter, we're tracking how many people are opening that. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I do want to know if you're tracking me, right? So you can install a Chrome extension called Ugly Email. Ugly Email, it is free. And after you install it just one time, do you notice anything different about my inbox in here? Anyone?
Nice, yes.
There's now 2 eyeballs on these 2 emails. It's letting me know that these 2 emails are being tracked as to if I open them or not, and they will be notified. It's not like the olden days where you had to hit the which button? You guys remember where they had to do a send receipt or accept? That's so yesterday. Now you can know whether they click or not, and I want to know if they're tracking me, all right? So this will tell you if they're tracking you, ugly email. I love it. Now this one was like Christmas when I got this one. This one's called assistant.to. Let's say you're going to take out a new buyer, okay? Or maybe it's an existing buyer, and you're going back and forth with different appointment times that work, right? That can add up to a lot of time, and time is money. So if I'm inside of an email, I can put buyer appointment, and if I click, do you see this new button here? If I install it, this is now in my Gmail from now on. If I click that, it automatically takes me to my Google Calendar within their app, and I then choose the available times that that buyer can choose from. I click, 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 any available time, and as soon as I click that, it automatically inserts this pretty thing right into my Gmail, and whichever time they click automatically goes in my calendar. Because I don't really want to share my whole calendar with them. Do you guys? But I do want to make it easy for them to book an appointment with me. And I want to make it easy to communicate. So this is an awesome one to use, and it's free. Isn't that cool? So free. Free is cool. Boomerang for Gmail is another Chrome extension that's pretty cool. Now here's what it does. You'll notice once you install it, at the bottom of a new message, you now have a new button that says send later. Not just send, but send later. I don't like to program my clients that I work at 12 a.m. But I might return an email. I'm going to click send later and have that send at 8 a.m. tomorrow, even though I already hit the sent button and did the email tonight. If I just worked an open house and I know I need to follow up with that person 3 times over the next 8 days, I'm going to actually do those communications right now while I'm in the open house before I forget, but I'm going to tell it to not go out till certain dates and times. Does that make sense? How cool is that? If you are a lender or title and you know there's different dates they need to send you different documents, go and schedule them out now instead of remembering to do it later, and tell it to send later. The opposite feature it has, there's what it looks like. You can tell it hours or days and exact time you want it to be sent. Or on the opposite side, you can boomerang it. Y'all know what a boomerang is. What happens when you throw a boomerang? It comes back. So not just sending later, but boomerang will actually say, if I'm sending a multiple offer, I need to know if that agent's opening that email, right? So what this says is, if this email is not responded to within the next 4 hours, boomerang it back to the top of my inbox to put it back at top of mind for me. Does that make sense? So it gives you full control to boomerang something back to you and the top of your inbox to take care of. So pretty cool. And also, The cost of free. How cool is that? Are you guys awake today?
Yes.
Am I going too fast? Okay, another Chrome extension is Gmail Offline. Gmail Offline, once you just add this one time, have you ever been in an airport or a meeting or somewhere where you didn't have Wi-Fi but you really wanted to work on those emails while you were in the waiting room? This allows you to access, respond, and even search for email without any Wi-Fi, totally offline. Then once you hit Wi-Fi, everything gets updated and sent out, but you can go ahead and respond, look at, and search for things all offline. So it's pretty cool and a free tool that you must have. Next is, we just have a couple more. Evernote Web Clipper. Now, this one does not have to do with Gmail, but it's still in the Chrome Web Store, okay? The Evernote, you love that one, I love it. How many of you have found a great article? Often, right? You might get it in a newsletter. You don't necessarily want to keep the email, but you'd like to keep that article. Well, with Evernote Web Clipper, once you install it, here's an example of one from yesterday. Inman sent this great article. Well, I wanted to not save the email, but that article was good. I wanted to organize it in a folder in my Evernote account. So what I did is I went to the upper right-hand corner of my browser, because after you install it, it's always there. See that tiny little elephant up there? If I click on that, this box pops up. Here's what it looks like a little bigger. See that elephant? This box will pop up, and I said, listen, I want to save the article, but I don't want all this junk on the sides. I really just want the article. So I told it to save the simplified article, just this, and just took all that chaos off the sides. And then I can put it in any folder I want without going to Evernote right from my browser. Does that make sense? So it's a great way to organize important things in your life. All right, so that's Evernote Web Clipper. Because my time is almost up, and I didn't want to run over, because I could have gone on and on and on and on. Some of you know me. I have so many cool things that I like to share with people. Because time is almost up, let me remind you that even with the few I gave to you today, if you only chose one or two of those tools, guys, it could mean more money in your pocket because time is money. It could mean getting an additional listing appointment because they view you as more techie. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. We had a coaching client call us 3 months ago, and they said, you're not going to believe this. And I'm not going to tell you who the client is because they're local and you would know who they are. They said, you're not going to believe this. I lost my first listing, and I can't remember when, after I already went on the appointment. And they list about 26 properties a month, so that was a big deal for them to lose that. And I said, well, what happened? He goes, I don't know, but I'm about to call. So they called, and it turns out the reason they lost that listing is because they thought the other agent that also interviewed could market their home better online than they could. This was baffling to my client because my client does some of the best online marketing there is. So do you know the first answer you usually get isn't the real answer? It really was the answer, but you have to dig deeper to find the core. And once he dug a little deeper, okay, perfect, tell me a little bit about that, okay? Tell me about how they market online. And what happened is they found out quickly the whole reason they thought they could market better online is because the other person brought an iPad to do the presentation, and my client brought a legal pad and pen. And the perception they were left with was the other guy's more techie, so he can probably market better online. Now, is that necessarily true? It doesn't matter, right? Perception is what matters. So start small. I asked him, I said, was it a millennial, right? He said, no, 69. And even though they admitted they didn't know a whole lot about technology, they did know their agent needed to know a lot about technology. So just one or two steps today could take you just a little bit further. I leave you with this. This is our company motto for this year, okay? And that is, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. The point being is, if you get overwhelmed by your job, by the things on your to-do list, or by technology, You don't have to be perfect. You just have to take a small step each day. Even if it's an imperfect step, take a step and it leads you closer to your goal, including your technology goals. All right, I've had fun with you guys today, and I hope that you implement a couple of these things. Take a picture of this slide, because this slide will give you a free digital copy of the presentation I've done today, so that if you want to access any of these later, you'll have them easily. So now, I want to warn you, the link is held on Google Drive, and the link was, 3 lines long, so I had to put it in a shortener. So this is case sensitive, okay? If you don't use the case sensitive, in other words, goo.gl/M lowercase k for uppercase N, lowercase s, uppercase Z, it will only come up if you do it case sensitive. Now, don't put this in Google, put it directly in the domain. All right? So take a picture of that, and I hope to see y'all in a future class.
Thank you.